The future of Dandy's World is looking super bright after our 30th of January update. We got so many gameplay improvements and so many behind the scenes fixes that are going to allow future updates to be awesome. And most of these improvements were hidden behind a sentence which said many back-end improvements to drive better performances. That included the Twisted Pebble bug fix to stop Twisted Pebble slowing down and bugging around corners, and the many back-end improvements also included the Twisted Pathing AI overhaul to make Twisted Pathing better. Speaking about our 30th of January update, KingMob has said a lot of the changes made in this update were complete overhauls of major systems, and a lot of the bugs were getting back to baseline. The benefits of these changes will be in future updates, so you'll just have to trust us there. So how Twisteds are coded behind the scenes have changed a lot, allowing the developers to work with the Twisteds a bit more, giving us hopefully different types of Twisteds in the future, different gimmicks for Twisteds. KingMob has also said, while it's not outwardly exposed right now, we have a lot of options for changes in the Twisteds moving forward. So the dev team are heavily focused on Twisteds and how they're coded, their pathing AI, the systems that make Twisteds what they are, have changed a lot after the 30th of January update, and are going to change even more in the future. And that's why I think that we are finally going to get a climbing Twisted that was talked about when Twisted Sprout started to climb objects. If you remember, Twisted Sprout started to climb things, everybody was freaking out, but that gave the developers an idea for a Twisted that can climb. So that's fascinating. When Twisted Sprout started climbing objects, Quell said fixed since it was causing some cases of Sprout breaking, but I like the idea of the bug and might find a way to implement something like it more official in the future since players liked it. So with this new Twisted overhaul happening, maybe the dev team are working on a Twisted that can climb. Doesn't that sound super awesome? And when Twisted Sprout was climbing objects, KingMob said the Sprout hopping tables was a taller hip height that snuck through but was an oversight. It has opened up the conversation for intentionally doing that though. Yes, major Twisted features are coming and Dial is an example of that. So the dev team are definitely on the topic of different Twisted gimmicks that are fun and exciting, like climbing, like a Twisted being able to climb assets. Like what? That sounds terrifying. That sounds exciting as well though. KingMob also said it's definitely a fun idea that if worked correctly would make a cool Twisted. After our 30th of January update, this user asked KingMob, any future gameplay updates since optimizations are done? Don't have to tell us what they are, but it would be nice to know. This user has a good question because now that the optimizations of all of the Toons have been completed and all of the Twisteds, what now for Dandy's World? The dev team can work on the game finally, because the optimizations were causing a lot of lag issues, were causing performance issues. Now that's all over, the dev team can focus their resources on new gameplay features. Let's see what KingMob said. KingMob said there's a lot of cool things coming. What could that mean? Maybe a climbing Twisted that the dev team were talking about a few months ago? That's a possibility. This user asked KingMob, now if you could answer this question, what one emoji would you use? What's the next update? So this user wants KingMob to answer the question through an emoji on what the next update is. KingMob replied with a dabbing blot emoji. What could that mean? Some people think that the next Dandy's World update has something to do with blot, or even Twisted blot, because the dev team have been heavily focused on Twisteds as of recent. Or the emoji is just about the gesture that the next update is going to be awesome. This user asked a very good question that I'm sure a majority of the community are also wondering. They asked, can you confirm whether big gameplay changing updates are coming soon or not? Because that's something I see an insane amount of complaints about. The ratio of cosmetic updates such as skins and stuff to big gameplay affecting updates. I'm sure a lot of players agree with this comment. We want more gameplay updates. We have so many skins already and players want some gameplay changes that spice up the gameplay loop. King Mob replied saying, I will say some major barriers to releasing content was fixed with this last update, but other than that, it's not my place to reveal things like that. So from King Mob's response, it seems like the dev team are going to be able to push out more updates faster because all of the tunes are optimized. There were lots of back-end performance fixes, so the coding must be cleaner now to work with. I think the future of Danny's World looks so bright. I think the possibility of playing Toon handlers could also be a part of a future update. Quell did post this image on her YouTube posts of Twisted Dandy, and if you look closely on the right hand side is Devon Reed, Dandy and Pebble's Toon handler, but nobody really knows why Devon Reed is in the background. This post was made 3 months ago, but in 2024, Quell said, I'd love if I could add the Toon handlers into RP mode, no time soon, but eventually. I don't know if I should make it a Game Pass or free. I think it'd be cool if it were a free update to RP mode though, instead of a Game Pass, and instead to fund the game a bit more, I put out a UGC. I'll have to see though. So this was in 2024, and we're in 2026 now, so the possibility of Toon handlers being playable in RP mode, whether that's with a paid Game Pass or for free, could be quite soon, now that all of the optimizations are out of the way. I actually made a Game Pass concept for Toon handlers, and this is what it looks like. So maybe we would get a Game Pass for Toon handlers, or maybe, as Quell said, it could be free, and Quell will put out a UGC just to fund the game, so players can buy UGCs from the Roblox catalog. I also think that in the future, Danny's World is going to create larger maps because of the Twisted Cap increasing to 8. So I think more maps like the aquatic map and the art map are going to be created because those maps are huge, and with the Twisted Cap being at 8, the players need more space. So I think map designs are going to change a lot. I also think that more machine types are going to be introduced into Dandy's World, with all of the tunes being optimized and with all of the new animations that tunes have. The dev team can now focus their resources on gameplay changes, and more machine types is a perfect way to introduce gameplay changes just to spice up the gameplay loop. And for anyone wondering why tunes keep their animation assets inside their models, this user asked, guys, why does Brightney have her notebook inside her? A lot of tunes with animation assets like Sprout as well have their assets inside their model. Quell replied saying, it's for idle animation. We keep assets within the models and pull the model out during the animation. It's a technical thing, very fun to learn how games work. So I guess it's just easier for the assets to stay close to the tune for when the animation plays.